how do you see the development of e-commerce or the e-trade or eBay or many?
It's a technology that and a platform that provide a bunch of entrepreneurs to provide new services, new products in a very different business model. Many of them said zero margin.
Zero margin. Because there's no
and they don't care,
infrastructure cost.
And which in the real world, nobody imagined that with selling product with zero margin. In fact, BuyComp, the company called Buy.com that we have investment, they have negative 5% margin. Can you imagine? And the guy
we're talking last night.
I don't understand this.
We don't think our shareholders and board and management teams would appreciate a negative 5% margin.
Yeah, that's right.
We decided that would not be good for our business.
Amazon.com, AOL, there are many companies who are very, compared to the revenue and the profits, their market capitalization is huge.
It's crazy.
How do you explain?
I don't. I can't.
Well,
he's the one who's made all the right investments.
Is it a bubble or is it reality or
it's both. I think it's both. In the short run, it is bubble. It is above what you can justify. But in the long run, it is not the bubble. It is going to bring the real value because.
So it's a value of today's market expectation for the future.
The market is reading the future. If you say that the internet market is too big, well, look at the number. Right now, the total market cap of the cyberspace industry is about $200 billion. The PC market is right now almost $2 trillion. So it's still 1/10.
Yeah.
But I think in 10 years from now, the cyberspace equity size will be equal to the PC industry.
Yeah, but somebody told me the total value of the book sold in worldwide is smaller than market cap of Amazon.com. How do you explain it?
Well, I wondered myself, and I made a visit to Amazon.com in Seattle a few times myself, and I talked with Jeff Bezos more than several times. And then now I'm completely convinced. That is that it's very different business model. If you are Barnes and Noble with 1,000 retail stores, let's say, and if you need one kind of book, you need 1,000 books for one SKU.
That's right.
At Amazon, you need only one. So the productivity is so much better because you don't have no waste of dead inventory.
That's true.
And
it's kind of a habit. If you start ordering books through Amazon.com.
It happens. And when my wife went on bed rest with our first child, and she started ordering groceries using a service called Peapod. And from her Macintosh, she would just order food. And she used to be nervous that, will I get fresh milk? Will I get good produce? Will I get good meat? And she tried it a couple of times. Now, with two small children, it is faster, it is lower cost, she doesn't have to use her own gas, she doesn't have to fight the traffic, she doesn't have to load the kids in the car, and they bring the food right to her countertop. And for people who can't afford to get out, who don't have a car, to do distance learning, telemedicine, home shopping, home banking, the ability to get cash loaded into a Java card in your Java phone in your home, connected to that's just the conveniences.
I'm completely convinced already now that it will be very big, and it is much more productive, and so it makes sense. And the key is, in the real world, there are even in Japan there are 25,000 bookstores, physical bookstores. So many of them compete. Too many owners. In the cyberspace, number one company get 60% market share, 70% market share. So brand really matters, and very very small number of players who can really succeed. It's just like any other big industry.
And what about live books? This is that new technology where
you have the book.
You have an electronic book.
Just by downloading.
It just brings down a page at a time as you read it, and you click on it. It stores 3 or 4 pages ahead.
Yes.
And you never buy the material. It's like renting a movie.
The cost of the goods is much lower, so that the price could be much 1/10.
As the display technology and the communications technology moves forward, people can just download the newspaper or book.
So we'll develop the display like a paper then.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Paper will never go away. But
yeah, but electronic paper.
Yeah.
Yes.
By Sony could be a big hit.
So, he's a king now.
No. You guys are the king.
I think what you should
You
share.
say Lion King.
It's a Lion King.
I think what you should share with everybody is where should we put some money into the stock market today? What's going to be the next big win?
Well, I think it's 3S. Sun, Sony, and Softbank.
There you go. I like that. Always a promoter, huh?
Thank you very much, Sam. Very kind words. By the way, you're competing with Microsoft in many cases. What is the rule of the competition? Is that kill each other or destroy or coexist?
I think by nature we're going to have to coexist because as far as I can tell, Microsoft's not going to quit.
I don't think so.
And I'm pretty sure we're not going to quit. And at this point, with the Spark Solaris Java Genie technology and the Intel Microsoft technology, the world will be full of those technologies forever. Yeah. So we have to coexist.
Well, from consumer electronic point of view, I think competition between Microsoft and some Microsystems is quite welcome. But I think the competition for the increase of the pie of industry itself is it's a kind of healthy competition.
Absolutely. And what's more important, I think, is that the network continues to drive both companies to make their interfaces open. And if you look, we try and make all of our interfaces open and available to the market with Unix and the web interfaces and the Java Genie architectures and even our microprocessor architecture. And the good news is Microsoft is being forced to provide a browser there, to connect to HTTP, to do TCP/IP. It's a lot of alphabet soup, but it means that both companies have to adhere to the interfaces that the web drives, and that's good news because then we really will get to the point where things will work together much more seamlessly, and the consumer will be much happier.
I think so.
What do you think about Linux?
I think Linux is pretty interesting. I think. I've always thought that nobody should own the alphabet.
You mean Unix type of the?
It's the open freeware version of Unix.
Yeah.
And I've always thought that nobody should really own where the brake pedal goes on an automobile. Nobody should really own the alphabet. A through Z should not be owned by anybody. I'd love to own A through Z. I'd love to own English.
Copyright.
I'd love to charge you $250 a year to read, write, speak, teach, or learn English. That's or Japanese. I'd love to own Japanese. Wouldn't that be a great?
Richest guy.
Yeah, you could do really well. So the nice thing about Linux is that it's opening up the alphabet and the grammar and the syntax and basic words. Like
who is responsible for the version upgrading?
Well, that's an interesting question, and I always turn around and say, who's responsible for Japanese?
That's true.
Right?
It's ever-changing, yeah.
It's ever-changing, and it is the Japanese community creates new words, creates new slang, creates new grammar.
French spoken in France and French spoken in Canada is different.
Nobody's in charge, and that's okay. And the invisible hand of a market economy keeps people moving in the right direction.
I see.
So the fact that we have to have people in charge is a remnant of the old proprietary monopoly, IBM or Microsoft strategy.
I basically agree with you very much on that. What is the compatibility issue on that, though?
Well,
how do you maintain the compatibility issue?
That's an important.
Which will enhance.
That's an important issue.
Yeah.
If you and I speak in different accents, our brains can interpret.
True.
Unfortunately, when a computer talks to another computer or an appliance talks to another appliance, for instance, if perfect Java isn't spoken, it takes one line of code and there's no connection. They miss. Right? It's got to be a perfect match. So accents and dialects are not allowed.
Not allowed. Yeah.
So what we've done, for instance, with the Java platform is created a very extensive compatibility test that we force anybody who puts the Java coffee cup logo on, he must pass this test. And it's really just
in case of Java, because Sun is in the center, you can still do that. In Linux, how do you do that? That's been my key question.
Well, that's one of the strategies we're trying to figure out, is if we can create a Linux compatibility kit, so that people can actually test their Linux.
Yeah.
If we get involved with Linux more aggressively, I think
I think you should.
We'll drive.
I think you should.
Yeah, will you fund it?
How much?
The problem with all of this stuff is nobody wants to pay you for Linux or for Java, yet they want you to go do all of the
but I think with Sun, with the experience of managing Java, and also at the same time people trust you, that you don't really control for the sake of control.
Right.
So that if you stand up and say, okay, as an extension of Java, we are also going to support Linux in terms of the compatibility and so forth, for the sake of the industry, not for the sake of the control.
In effect, we do that. We fundamentally run the Java platform at a loss.
Yeah.
And we run Unix at a loss.
Yeah.
But we do that so that it expands the market, so that more people get online comfortably, safely, securely. And then we hope they buy our servers and our storage.
Right. Yeah, and that's working. That's working very well, right?
It's worked well the last couple of years.
Yeah, well, I think that the next natural extension of what you're doing is Linux.
Yes. So do you want to be on my strategy board?
I'm just talking as an amateur, one of the amateur guys.
No, I wish we had more amateurs like you on our side.
There's always a gap between the evolution of everything in the United States and also in Japan. So when the Tetana started the satellite transmission, it was 1970?
Yes, around that time.
It's about 15 to 20 years difference between Japan and America. Today's internet world, how much is the gap?
Well, the gap is, I think, around 3 years, but it's not narrowing. That's the issue.
It's widening?
It's widening almost.
Why it's widening?
Well,
because of regulation, or?
Yeah, that's one thing. The usage cost is too expensive in Japan.
You mean
telecommunication cost is too expensive.
That is the big driver.
Yeah.
And in fact, deregulating telecommunications, allowing competition. And if you look at the many different ways into the home today, you have DSL and you have your internet service providers, and you have ISDN, you have cable, and you have the satellite, and you have cellular. And there are so many different ways now into the home, and they're all competing
each other.
In Palo Alto, there's so many different ways to wire your home.
In the U.S., cable is installed to penetrated to 70%.
Almost 70%.
But the cable television in the United States, only few are the gatekeeper, like a Warner television, Warner cable, and TCR.
Yeah, that's true. But still, 70% penetration of cable to home is a big infrastructure that will support the next level of the bandwidth for internet.
So internet Japan, and cable integration.
But in Japan, the cable penetration is less than 3%.
Probably more, but
maybe more, but the only less than half of them are actual cable.
Yeah,
that's the other is only for
it's analog cable. Digital cable.
So the bandwidth is not going to be available through cable in Japan at all.
How about optical fiber?
DSL and optical fiber are the and satellite.
Even satellite now is becoming two-way.
Yes, that's right.
And radio, the Nextel radio communications, and you look at the low Earth orbit satellite, the Iridium efforts. There's so many different ways. It's we were talking about the internet. By the year 2002, more than half of the devices on the internet will be non-PC devices.
By when?
There'll be non-personal computer devices.
Yeah, by 2002.
By 2002.
Overpassing over 50.
Absolutely. So now all of a sudden it'll be your cell phone or your automobile or your
I believe you. I believe you.
Yeah,
and that's incredible.
PlayStation, for example.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Play Java Station.
Yes. Yeah. In Japan, many of the automobile have navigation device, and Sony is the leading provider of that system. And many of them are now saying that it's going to get connected to the web.
Absolutely.
Right.
Well, in fact, we're working with a lot of the automobile manufacturers and
Java automobile.
The Java car specifications, and the idea is to wear a Java ring that's from Ford or Toyota and whatever, and you reach for your car handle, and the proximity of the chip to the door handle opens the car door. It will adjust the seats to your height and weight. It will reprogram the radio to the radio stations you like to listen to. If it's my son, I'm only going to allow 55-mile-an-hour speed limit, with his ring, and it will have a global positioning system that will beam back to home where he went.
If your son was smart enough, then he would change.
He'd get my ring or something.
This high speed
Microsoft ring.
Well, then it wouldn't work. It would crash 2 times a day. But you can think about tying that into a global positioning system, and when you pull up to a stop sign, on a little dashboard it'll say, oh, by the way, there's a McDonald's 3 blocks up on your right. Or, do you need a new pair of jeans? There's a Gap store over on the left. And there'll be location-dependent advertising. I mean, even today now, my new Cadillac, when you get in an accident, the airbag deploys, the car automatically calls a General Motors service center, and they call your car and ask you, are you all right?
It's automatic. It's
automatic.
Kind of ITS.
If you don't answer, they send an ambulance directly to the scene, because they know global. Right. Send help quick, and they'll send an ambulance exactly to where you are. You don't even have to know where you are. They know where your car is.
That was a network society.
And it'll be good and bad. I know the privacy issues bother people, but I think it depends on who you are. If you're Bill Clinton, maybe it'll bother you. But
what do you mean?
Well,
what do you mean? Be careful.
I don't know. It's just, other people, I think, will actually be happy to have that kind of availability and knowledge.
The mothers very often worry where their kids are.
Yeah, someday you have a little Java chip embedded behind your ear when you're born, so that they can keep
You're talking
track
about a non-PC device will be more than half by year 2002?
Yes.
What kind of non-PC device?
Well, I think set-top boxes, game machines and televisions, and all your home entertainment devices, all of your cellular phones and your web phones will be kiosks, ATMs, those kinds of devices, and I believe within 4 or 5 years, most automobiles will be Java IP appliances.
Well, I was just told that Sony PlayStation sold in only month of December more than 3 million units in the United States.
It wouldn't
more
take
than 3 million in 1 month.
So to put a Java browser on a PlayStation, all of a sudden it becomes a game machine and an internet access device. We just did a deal with AOL, with Sun Microsystems, where we're going to be building AOL Anywhere devices. AOL TVs, AOL PCs, AOL telephones, AOL nomadic devices. And I think you'll want to be able to access your AOL chat, your AOL messaging, your AOL interest groups, no matter where you are, any place, anytime, anywhere.
That's very great. Just say it over with Yahoo.
Excuse me, I mean Yahoo. Did I say AOL? I meant to say Yahoo.
Yahoo.
Son-san, Yahoo is totally unknown to many of Japanese, 3 years ago. But now, today, many internet users use Yahoo.
Yes.
Yahoo, you own 30% of Yahoo?
Yeah, 30% Yahoo in the US.
How did you find Yahoo is an interesting company?
Well, it was Ziff Davis. That was the key to me.
I see.
The investment into Ziff Davis was a big thing for SoftBank. You know, it's a lot of money. It's a big gamble.
That was a bet the company.
Yeah.
And that was a real risky entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
So you bet that company?
Yeah.
By intuition, then?
Yeah. The reason is because if you go to the island like this, you know, where there is a treasury island, let's say, and you are looking for treasure, what do you want to have? The gun or medicine or food or girlfriend or you know, what is it? Well, what I said, what I want is a map and a compass. Where can I find that treasure? To me, the map and compass of going forward into the new, you know, technology world.
Yeah.
Where is that treasure is buried? To find out, you know.
And that treasure is information.
Yeah.
Treasure information.
Yeah. Treasure information.
Navigation to the
navigation to find the treasure. So the Ziff Davis is the map and compass for me to find Yahoo.
Oh, I see.
So on, you know, which company is going to be the key company for the cyberspace that's coming. So I asked Eric Hippo of Ziff Davis and said, well, I decided to go into the cyberspace, the internet world. Just give me one name of the company that I should really look into. And he said Yahoo. And when Yahoo had only 15 employees.
That was 4 years ago?
Yeah. 3.5.
How much into Yahoo at the time?
$100 million.
And it's worth now?
$13 billion.
We're in the wrong business.
In the wrong business. We are serious manufacturers.
Yeah, right.
This is just lucky. Lucky comes only once or twice in your lifetime.
Well, not many people are that lucky. That's good. I don't think that's totally lucky. I think that's...
we were
I think, you know, the new president of the Bertelsmann, Thomas Middelhoff,
right.
I think he invested
into AOL.
Yeah, into AOL.
Yeah.
That's also about same period of time, I think, 3-4 years ago.
They made about 5% investment into AOL, which was a lot.
Yeah, which is a lot, yes.